Good evening students, welcome back to botany sessions, and today we are going to see that, and in these videos we are going to discuss about transport in plant for the continuations. And in previous class we discussed already what is called transport, how they are transported in plant, what are the functions of xylem, phloem or complex they are mainly involved for transportations of plants, and already we discussed it. Based on their energy explanation, the transport are classified into passive transport and active transport. In yesterday class we discussed passive transport. Now active transport. Right. Then what is called active transport? The active transport is nothing but uphill transport. Uphill transport. Metabolic energy is essentials. They utilize the metabolic energy for the transport of molecules from its region of low concentration to the region of higher concentration. They transport the molecules against concentration gradient. It opposite to the passive transport. In passive transport, it is a downhill transport based on their concentration gradient. Active transport, it is a uphill transport based on their against concentration gradient, the movement of molecules from its low concentration to the higher concentrations. See, let us take example. It is a plasma membrane. Or also called cell membrane. It is inside the cell. Here outside the cell. It is a membrane. There is a membrane proteins present for transport of low concentration to the higher concentration. Inside the cell there is a low concentrations. Outside the cell it is a higher concentrations. High concentration. Here it's a low concentrations. With the help of certain transport proteins. So what are the transport proteins are also called membrane protein, which is involved in the facilitated diffusion. The same transport proteins also involved in the active transport also. They are located in the membrane. For the translocations of molecules from its lower concentration to its higher concentration, for that purpose, the membrane protein rotates 360 angle. See, it is a molecule. To holding the molecules to form a complex system. When they reaches the outside of membrane, the molecules gets disassociated and again it is rotate for holding of molecules. For this purpose, they utilize metabolic energy in the form of ATP. They utilize ATP to form ADP. So it is a 180 angle, another 180 angle. They rotate 360 angle again to hold the molecules to discard or to transport from its low concentration to higher concentration. These are called active transport. Then what is the disadvantages of passive transport? For example, diffusion. In diffusion, there are lack of or failure to control over the transport of certain selective molecules. Already we know that passive transport transported all the molecules from its higher concentration to low concentration. There is no any barrier. But if there failure to control over the selective molecules, there is a possible for transport of certain poisonous substance or harmful substance also they may be entered. So that is why This selective permeable membrane, they play an important role, it's a great role to control over the exit and entry of the molecules. So these are the disadvantages of transport, especially diffusion are also called facilitated diffusion. But the active transport, it is selective. They transport only selective molecules from its low concentration to higher concentration with the help of ATP. This ATP is supplied through respiration process. In addition to another one example for active transport, sodium, potassium, ATPase pump or ATPase actions. See, it is a membrane protein. It is inside the cell, outside the cell. The membrane protein, sodium ion, potassium ion, ATPase pump. It is a membrane protein, are also called transport protein, which is located in the membrane. And with the help of this transport, the sodium ion transported from inside the cell to the outside the cells. Na plus. Simultaneously, potassium ion transported from outside the cell to the inside the cells. But they utilize metabolic energy. So, energy in the sense ATP, adenosine triphosphate, it is essential for the simultaneous transport of ion molecules. These are called sodium potassium pump or ATPase pump. So, the ionic molecules are transported actively or active transport. So, passive and active transport over. The next topic we are going to discuss. The next topic, water relation plants. How water is played an important role in the plants. See, water, it is a universal solvent. Universal solvent. Water, it is a pure solvent in which solute molecules are gets dissolved in it. So, water, it is a play an important role or main role in the life of the plant, because nearly 80% of the total weight of the plant is composed of water, especially protoplasms. What is called protoplasm? It is a cell without cell wall. It is a physical basis of life to the cell, that's called protoplasm. The protoplasm nearly composed of 60 to 80% of waters. So water, it is a main role for transport of molecules, to maintain the internal temperature of the plants, to maintain the turgidity of the plant cells. It is also to control or to regulate ascent of sap. Ascent of sap. You know what is called ascent of sap? Upward movement of water along with the dissolved substance or takes place through xylem vessel to all parts of the plant body. These are called ascent of sap. So water, it is essential roles, play an important role. And before we are studying this, what are the technical terms that is used in the water relations? The first one is imbibitions. Imbibitions. What is known as imbibitions? Imbibition is nothing but the process of uptake of water molecule by the substance that do not dissolve in the water molecule. These are called imbibition. For example, the substrates are also called colloidal substance. Colloidal substance. For example, gum, cellulose, starch, agar, proteins. So these are the colloidal substances. When they are placed in the water, it absorbs a large or huge amount of water molecule that become imbibed or swelling up. But these substances do not dissolve in the water. By the process called imbibition, by these substances are called imbibant. So these are called imbibant. What are called imbibant? the substance which do not dissolve in the water molecule. These are called imbibition. By this phenomena is called imbibitions. For example of imbibitions, swelling of dry seeds. The dry seeds, they are placed on the water, it absorbs a large amount of water molecules, they become swelling. So, but these seeds do not dissolve in the waters. So, these are the example of imbibition. Then another example of imbibition, swelling of wooden door are also tables, wooden windows, they become swelling especially during rainy seasons due to the high humidity. Especially rainy season, the doors, table that become imbibe due to the absorption of water molecules. These are the example for imbibition. Then what is the significance of imbibitions? What are the importance or significance of imbibition? Imbibition actually play an important role in the seed germinations. Seed germination. During seed germination, imbibition it is a help to absorption of water molecules. As a result, the seed could become bursting. See, it is a seed. When the seeds are placed on the water, it absorbs a large amount of water through a minute opening is called micropyle. Micropyle. With the help of through this micropyle, the seeds which absorbs a large amount of water, the seeds become imbibed. As a result, bursting of seed coat. There are two types of seed coats which cover the seed. Outer seed coat is called testa. Inner seed coat is called tegmen. If the seed coats are burst, germinations takes place. So imbibition which help in the seed germinations, it is a main role. Then another one is imbibition helps in absorption of water by the root system. Absorption of water by root or root hairs. How the root, where is the source of water? Soil is the source of waters. So the root hairs which help to absorb the water from the soil initially by imbibitions. Initial stage, need question, initially by imbibition. If the water is entered the root cells, they create a osmotic potential or water potential and further translocation upward by the process called osmosis. But initially root has absorbs water from the soil by imbibition. So these are the two main significance of imbibition. One is imbibitions are playing important role in the seed germinations. Second one is water absorption by the root hairs. So example for imbibition, swelling of dry seeds when they place in the waters and swelling of dry wood, windows, tables and these are placed on the waters and during rainy season it become imbibed due to the absorption of water molecules. The next word relation to water relation plants, water potential. What do you mean by water potential? How they are playing important role in the relations in the waters, I mean plants, water. The concept of water potential was first introduced by Slatier and Taylor in the year 1960. The two persons first introduced the concept of water potential in the year 1960. The water potential, the term water potential is denoted by a Greek symbol called psi. So the word water potential is denoted by a Greek symbol is called psi. It is measured by a unit called Pascal, or also called bar. So these are the related word to the water potential. The term water potential denoted by the Greek symbol is called psi. It is measured by the unit called Pascal. So what do you mean by water potential? It's nothing but potential of water energy or potential energy of water molecules compared to the pure water at a standard temperatures. It's nothing differences between the free energy of water molecules in the pure water and the solvent. These are called water potential. Take for example, it's a better easy to understand. It is a U-shaped tube. These tubes are separated by semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. What do you mean by semi-permeable membrane? It allows to pass through only solvent molecules. Does not allow to pass through the solute molecules. So these are called semi-permeable membrane. These U-shaped tubes, one side, both are filled with the water molecules. It is filled with the water molecules. At a standard temperatures, the water potential is maximum 0. Standard temperature, water potential of pure water is 0. It's a maximum, it's a 0 water potential. Then what is called water potential? Each and every water molecules have the free energy. They move freely or randomly in the living systems. Water molecules, they move freely or randomly in the living system. It's a water potential. If you add any solute particle, solute particle, for example, sugar particles or salt, if you add any solute particle, they reduce the water potential. So water potential gets reduced and it reduces the free energy of water molecule, automatically reduce the water potential. The value become negative. Because pure water, the water potential of the pure water is 0. If you add any solid particle, definitely they reduce the water potential and also reduce the free energy. The water potential decrease, that become negative value. See, in the pure water, it is also called a solvent. Pure water, it has more water potential. More water potential. But if you add any solid particle, it reduces the water potential. So water potential is nothing but a free energy of water molecules between the solution and the solvent. These are called water potential. At standard temperature, once again I would remember, at a standard atmospheric temperature, the water potential of the pure water is 0. If add any solute particle, definitely they reduce the free energy of water molecule, automatically decrease the water potentials. So a solution, it is always as low water potential. It is a solution You know, solution is composed of solvent along with the solute particles. A solution always has low water potential. Low water potential. Take for example a group of cells. Group of cells have different water potentials. For example, yes, it is a cell A, cell B, cell C and D. It is a group of cells have the different water potentials. A cell have water potential -2 bar. B cells have the water potential -2. C cells have the water potential -5. You know that the value is negative, automatically it is a solutions, no doubt at all. D cells, the water potential as 0. See, when compared all the cells which is has a maximum water potential, D is a maximum water potential, because maximum pure water potential of the pure water is 0, maximum value is 0. It is a more water potential. But the A and B, it is a less water potential. But whereas in C, it is a more less water potential. It is a neat question. Under this situation, the movement of water molecules from where to where? It is a question. The water molecule move always more water potential to less water potential. Now tell me, the movement of water molecules from where to where? I mean, the A and B cell receive the water molecule from the D. So the water molecules move from D to the A and B cells because it's a less value. And also C cell receive the water molecule from A also, B also, then D also. It is a more less water molecules. So based on this consideration, the water potential can be determined by two factors. One is solute concentration, or also called solute potential. It is denoted as psi S. Solute. S refers to solute. The second one is pressure potential. It is denoted as psi P. P refers to pressures. So the water potential can be determined by these two factors. One is a solute potential, or also called based on consideration of solution. Another one is pressure potential. But based on our correlation of these two factors, water potential can be written as water potential psi W refers to water potential is equal to solute potential plus pressure potential. So it is a neat question. How can we calculate the water potential? Water potential can be determined by these two factors. One is a solute potential, and one is a pressure potentials. So next, what is called solute potential and pressure potential? Solute potential. The solute potential, it is denoted as psi P. It is also called osmotic potential. It's a simple concept. What is called solute potential? Effect of dissolved solute on the water potential. These are called solute potential. If you add any solute particle into the pure solvent, definitely they reduce the free energy molecules and automatically decrease the water potentials. So the value of the solute potential, the value of the water potential become 0 to negative. Solute potential or solution always has negative value. Solutions. But water potential always has positive, or positive is nothing but 0. Value maximum is 0. So the value of, if you add any solute particles to the pure solvent or water, definitely the value of water potential becomes 0 to negative values. At a standard atmospheric pressure, the water potential, it is always equal to the solute potentials. What are the differences between water potential and solute potential? Water potential of the pure water is maximum 0, but solution, it is a negative value, because they reduce, if add any solution, they reduce the free energy molecules. At a particular or standard atmospheric temperature, water potential is equal to solute potential. The next one is pressure potential. It is denoted as psi P, pressure potential. What is called pressure potential? It is a mechanical force. It is work on mechanical force. It is denoted as pressure potential, work on the mechanical force. It is work always against to the solute potential. Take for example, it is a U-shaped tube. It is separated by semi-permeable membrane. That's one side is a pure solvent, has more water potential, less solute potential. Another side has solution, has more solute, less solvent. So if you apply this atmospheric pressure on one side, ATM pressure, atmospheric pressure on one side, it pushes the water molecule in opposite directions. That is a pressure. It's called pressure potential. If you apply the pressure on one side, on the solution side, it pushes the water molecules across the plasma membrane into the another sides are solvent molecule. So, if atmospheric pressures are increasing, it will increase the water potential. So, both are positive value. Increased pressure potential will always increase water potential. So the value both are positive value. If the pressure is automatically increasing, atmospheric pressure is increasing, increase the water potential. As a result, the water will enter into the cell. For take example, this is a cell. Neighboring cell. It is a protoplast. Protoplasts are differentiated into cytoplasm, the center nucleus. It is a cell wall. It is a plasma membrane. Due to the atmospheric pressure, as a cell, the water will enter from neighboring cells into the neighboring cells. Enter into the cells, water will enter. If the water continuously enter into the cell, it push water molecule a stress on the plasma membrane. As a cell, the cell become turgid. Cell become turgid. If this automatically water continuously enters certain stage, the cell become burst. So to prevent the bursting of the cell, if the cell wall to push or create a pressure against of turgid, these are called wall pressure. So due to atmospheric pressure, water continuously enter into the cells, the cell become turgid. So a positive pressure is created inside the cells due to atmospheric pressure. These are called turgor pressure. Turgor pressures. What is called turgor pressure? The water is continuously entered. These are called endosmos, from neighboring cell to the cell, from neighboring cell into the cell, and automatically they become imbibe. The cell is said to be turgid. A positive pressure is created inside the cell is called turgor pressures. If the cell is placed under the hypertonic solution, if they are placed in the solution, automatically water will lost by the process called exosmosis. The water will lost from the cell. They reduce the water potential. The cell is water is lost from the cell. They reduce the water potential. The cell become flaccid. Cell becomes flaccid. It suddenly becomes stinking. So water, it is play an important role to maintain the turgidity of the cells. Turgidity. If water is lost, they could not maintain the shape of the cells. The shape of the cells is maintained by water or turgid. So these are called turgor pressure. So by the correlations of both potential or osmotic pressure or solute potential and pressure potential, it is that these two factors will determine the water potentials. The next, metric potential. Metric potential. It is denoted psi m, metric potential. Then what is called metric potential? It's nothing. Attraction between water molecules and hydrated or colloidal or a jelly-like organic molecule present in the cell wall. Are you clear? What is called metric potential? It is mainly based on their dry cells. It is denoted by psi m, attractions between the water molecule and the colloidal or jelly-like organic molecule present in the cell wall. What are the organic molecules present in the cell wall? For example, gum, cellulose. These are colloidal substances. Cellulose, then agar, gelatin. These are the organic molecules present in the cell walls. See, if it is placed under the water, what will happen? It absorbs the water, but these substances do not dissolve in the waters. So this pressure is called a metric, or it is also called imbibition pressure. So metric potential, it is also called imbibition pressure. So the value of imbibition pressure, it is a maximum negative. So that is, these are present only in the dry cells only, dry cells. It is applicable only in the dry cells. When the dry wood or when the dry seeds or dry wooden materials are placed under the waters. Due to the presence of these jelly-like substance in the cell wall, the imbibe absorbs water to create a pressure is called imbibition pressure. So imbibition pressure, it is also called a metric potential. It is maximum zero, applicable only in the dry cell. It is not applicable or negligible in living cells. Negligible in living cells. So these are called metric potential. So today we are discussing what is called active transport, how they are transported, transport the molecules from its region of low concentration to the region of higher concentration with the help of these carrier proteins or channel proteins that are involved in the facilitated diffusion. So what are the channel protein, carrier proteins are involved in the facilitated diffusion? Those proteins also involved in the active transport also. But for the purpose of transporting of molecules, these carrier protein are also transporting protein. They rotate at 360 angle by utilizing various metabolic energy. This is active transport. The next, what are the relation, water relation plants? How what is called water, what are universal solvent, how they play an important role in the plant, and what are technical terms are which is related with the water relation plants? What is imbibition? The next, water potential, solute potential, and pressure potential. The next osmotic pressures we will discuss in next videos. Thank you.